So I've gotten a few recent questions on stress eating and how do you stop. So I'm going to share my quick experience with it and a few things that helped me. So number one is you have to identify that it's an issue for you. I didn't even know that I was an emotional eater or was stress eating until it was called out for me one day when I was in therapy a long time ago. And my therapist had literally said to me, "It sounds like you're relating these emotions to food." Had no idea I was doing it, but my brain had literally a connection that was like feel, eat, feel, drink. And every time that happened to me, I was eating or drinking. I wasn't even aware of it, so I wasn't even able to identify it and stop it until that had happened to me. So that's the first step. Number two is making sure that you have a strong reason for wanting to do it. That is what is going to drive the change that is likely going to be challenging as you move along on this journey. Number three is going to be fully deciding that you are that you are going to do it no matter what and no matter how long it takes. Four is going to be reminding yourself, understanding that our feelings are meant to be felt. While they are uncomfortable, that is all they are. If we can learn to sit with that discomfort and not be afraid of any of the feelings that are going to come, whether that's sadness, grief, happiness, excitement, because sometimes it's the more positive emotions that we are eating through too, then our life literally changes. If we are not afraid of that intense feeling and that discomfort, we don't necessarily feel the need to eat or drink through it anymore. And that is really, really the key here, is knowing that we can process that and we actually need to before we take any action to try and avoid it. Next, big one here is, I would say, remembering that our feelings are caused by a thought about something and not the actual thing itself. I hear so many times when I'm working with clients, family, friends, talking about how stressful their work is, and that's what's leading them to overeat or eat late at night. And I would encourage you to separate out those two things. We have a job, and the way that we're thinking about it is what is causing most of our stress, and then we are eating as a result of that. So our thoughts about the job are what's causing us to feel stress and not the job itself. And the way that we know that is because there are many others who work in the same job. I know even in my position, I sometimes am feeling stress about the way that I think about my work, but there are others who at the same time are excited and having fun doing that work because they're looking at it very differently. So we can question those thoughts that we're having once we're able to identify them and consider, are they actually bringing us that feeling and driving the action that we want? And in this situation, it doesn't sound like they actually are. And then lastly is just remembering we don't need to eat or drink to get through any emotion, to hide from it, to create it. We can handle whatever situation we're in. So reminding ourselves that we can handle all hard things and that we can process through it is so key, because then we can decide what action we actually want to take. Do we want to eat the food? Do we want to eat the drink? And then it's coming from a totally different place if we decide to do it. It's not because we need to, it's because we want to. And guess what? The food or the drink tastes so much better when we come at it from that place.